Welcome to the Dynamics 365 video series, where we focus on the Dynamics 365 for Sales agents. Today's presentation focuses on Dynamics 365 Sales Qualification Agent, Research and Engage. Dynamics 365 now includes built-in Copilot capabilities across all major modules, from sales to customer services. These AI capabilities are inherited from the underlying Dataverse and model-driven app AI framework. Within Dynamics 365 for Sales, there are 5 different AI agents that have been created. Sales Qualification Agent Research analyzes leads against your own specific criteria, gives background analysis on the lead, and can draft emails to enable you to manage and qualify your leads more effectively. Sales Qualification Agent Research and Engage engages directly with your leads, sending emails, monitoring replies, and ultimately either disqualifying leads or handing them over to salespeople where necessary. Sales Close Agent Research continually assesses opportunities, considers multiple inputs in the opportunity, and summarizes a unified view and helps your salesman prioritize deals. Sales Close Agent Engage automates personalized emails and activities, helping guide potential buyers, and can provide accurate and compliant data to ensure consistent and efficient opportunity management. And Sales Research Agent helps to turn complex sales questions into an interactive research workspace connected to your CRM. So what are the requirements for the Sales Qualification Agent? You need a Sales Enterprise or Sales Premium license and a Copilot Studio license. You need to have various parts set up, such as Bing. The app must be created in Azure. There must be shared mailboxes, etc. The supporting guides around step-by-step setup on Microsoft Learn is very good for setting this up. And you also need to understand how to set up your handoff criteria. We will show you this in the demo, as there is some preparation that would be needed to set this up clearly. So what is the Sales Qualification Engagement? It's an autonomous AI that researches emails, follows up, qualifies, and hands off leads with minimal interaction. The agent researches each inbound lead using CRM data plus approved public sources. It sends personalized outreach emails automatically without waiting for the seller to act. It follows up autonomously, asking clarifying questions, and keeps the conversation going until the lead shows clear intent or disqualifies them. The agent analyzes responses for purchasing intent using criteria such as BANT, and it operates as a virtual sales development representative, handling research, qualification, outreach, and early conversation. So why does it matter? It can give instant lead response that can lead to a higher conversion. It frees sellers from low-value work, such as constantly reviewing high volumes of leads, creating emails, and waiting on replies. It increases pipeline quality with consistent AI-driven qualification. It reclaims wasted hours by filtering out bad leads, and it scales to meet high inbound volume leads, for example, from large-scale events or campaigns. So now we'll move into a demo of the Sales Qualification Engagement Agent. So now I'll show you how the Sales Qualification Agent can be set up to manage your leads quickly, easily, and efficiently with no direct interaction from a sales team. Then once we set it up, we can walk through how it works and interacts with leads autonomously. So using the Sales Hub model-driven app, we can navigate to App Settings, Dynamics 365 AI Hub, and then Create and Manage Agents. And here we can open the Engagement Agent. On the main page, we can see the automation level. Here is where we can define the research or engage mode. For this demo, we have the engage mode that can send personalized emails, follow-up responses, and engage up to handoff. For this to work, you need to ensure that all of the prerequisites are set up correctly. And once this is done, we can configure the agent accordingly. Once the prerequisites are set up, we can then go to the main settings. Some of the areas that we're going to focus on, for example, are company info. So this is where the agent will access your pertinent, openly accessible information about your company to add into targeted emails. Under products, this is where you can add in different value propositions and data that won't necessarily be available in publicly facing sites. Under the selection criteria, think of this as a filtered view for leads. This is where you can select the rules for when the agent will interact with leads. In this case, it's for open leads, where the source is not a partner, the email contains data, the owner is me. Obviously, you can configure this filter to suit your own exacting requirements. Under email instructions, this is where we can manage how the agent will personalize emails that are sent out. You can personalize the email based on any lead field, and in this example, it's topic and job title. But also further down the page, you can also select whether the emails are AI generated or you want to use some predefined email templates. Under the handoff criteria, this is the critical area of the sales qualification agent, and this is where you define the specifics for handoff. You can add in the human language into boxes, such as the industries that we're targeting. So here we've said we're targeting leads where the industry is not blank, or we could add in specific target industries. And you can also define the specific fields where that info is going to be referred to. So if we click on add, you can choose any of the lead fields that exist. And in this case, we're just looking at the lead industry field. We can also add in various other fields, such as the typical annual revenue for the companies. So here we're saying it's around 50 million. That information is held on the annual revenue. And here we've got the budget of 50,000 to 150,000 for a budget range for the project. And we're saying here it's held in the lead budget amount. Under assignment rules, this is where you define who the lead should be handed over once they require human interaction. In this example, it goes over to Phil Craig. Under research, the agent is already researching leads and accounts by default. However, you can also add optional data if required, such as detailed company information around specific projects, products, or target areas, or also information related to any competitors. Under the agent emails, you can add knowledge sources for email personalization and responses. Once all of the requisite information is set up, you can start the agent and you can do some performance testing and simulation. The agent works on the lead level, so now we are going to walk through some of the finer details and the views related to the leads. So once the agent has been started, there are 3 new views created at the lead level. And these are leads disqualified by AI agent, leads handed over by AI agent, and the first one we'll look at is leads being processed by AI agent. All leads, when they come in, will move into the being processed queue. And if we look at some leads that have been created for this demo, you can see that we've created a bespoke form to ensure all fields that were defined in the handoff criteria are easily visible. So we've called this the SQA demo form. So all of these fields are within the agent. And if we look on these records, we can see that there are a couple of leads being processed by the AI agent that we want to look at. In particular, the first one is Janet Andrews. So here we can see that the agent has sent a couple of emails. So the initial email that meets the criteria for the agent has been sent to Janet. We can see the information that the agent has created and sent automatically. There's also been no reply from Janet. So the agent has gently nudged Janet to see if there's any further information that can be needed. So this is continually monitored by the agent. And then there's another one here called for Simon Sutton. And what we'll see here is there's something at the top called See Full Research. So full research has been enabled on this. We can see that there are some emails that have been sent and they have replied. And if we go into the full research, here we can see what the agent recommends. So here it's saying to suggest to draft an email because the lead has a high purchasing intent. The sales director is myself for English consultancy, business services. There's 400 employees, 6 million in revenue, 125,000 budget, but there's a question that remains unanswered. So if we press draft email, this email will be created and we can then send that to the customer that the agent directly interacts with. So thank you for your interest for learning more information. If we then go back into this research, we can see the key insights about what's happened to the lead, why the lead is hot, and then we can also see some further information such as the company overview and some competitor insights which are based around AWS. So that's leads that are being processed by the agent. So what we would do is we would send that email, and then depending on hopefully the reply that comes from the customer, they're either asking for more information, in which case it will be handed over to someone, or the lead will be disqualified automatically if the person says they're no longer interested. So if we then go to have a look at the leads disqualified by agent, if a lead is then replied to by the customer to say they're no longer interested, what happens is the agent will automatically disqualify that lead. So here, if we go and look at this research on the lead, we can see that the customer has been sent lots of emails. So they're gentle nudges, noticing an interest, but then there's a reply that's come back saying, I'm no longer interested. So if we then look at the research on the agent, the lead has been automatically disqualified, and then it gives you information about why. So it shows it's because of low buying intent, because he's explicitly stated he's no longer interested and has chosen a different path. There's some key insights that are still here. And again, there's still the further information about company overview. So we can still go into the research on the lead about why it's been disqualified and understand why the agent has done that. And let's say, for example, the agent has incorrectly disqualified it, then we can tweak the agent as per the settings that we showed earlier, and that agent will then run again. The other one that we look at is leads are handed over by the AI agent. So here we've got one where the lead has been handed over because they've got a high interest in purchasing. Philip Craig is at Anderson's and he's head of sales operations. There were no specific questions answered, so a follow-up needs to be arranged. So if we look at this lead, we can see in detail that it matches all of the criteria we've set for the agent. And here there's an email that's come from the customer saying, yes, I'd be open to chatting to someone about the propositions. We've got the highlight of the timeline summarized by Copilot, but importantly, it said that they'd be open to chatting about the proposition. Therefore, the agent has automatically assigned it over to Philip Craig. And so Phil can now look at this lead. He can then contact the customer and qualify any further information about the lead and look at hopefully moving that from a lead to an opportunity. If we also look at the sales insights form, we can see all of the different information that's based on the sales insights, such as the lead scoring and the important bit around the relationship analytics. So here we can see some summary information that's been created by Copilot, shows us what the status of the lead is, and shows us some customer interactions. So that basically gives you a very high level overview of how the agent works. So there you go. That's a whistle-stop tour of the sales qualification agent. As you can see, it dramatically can reduce manual lead qualification workload. The agent will autonomously research leads, engage with them, follow up and apply qualification logic, including BANT, which removes a large portion of repetitive seller tasks. This can then enable sellers to focus on high-value conversations rather than early-stage qualification. With the handover of messaging, you have full configurability of the agent. This allows you to then decide when and where to let the agent interact with leads, the tone and the approach of emails, and who you wish to approach using an agent. It also enables easy tracking. You can easily see which leads have been interacted with, what the research information is, what the agents have sent and the replies from customers, as well as defining any simple handoff criteria to individuals or teams. So thank you very much for your time. My name's Neil English. I'm a pre-sales solution architect for the ANS AI Business Applications team, and you can contact me anytime on neil.english@ans.co.uk. Thank you.